Hey family, this is day 19 of our Reading Through the Bible Together in a Year series. Today we're covering Exodus chapter 9, verse 13 through chapter 12, verse 28. So we're middle of the chapter to the middle of the chapter today. But yesterday where we were at is that we had started the 10 plagues over Egypt. And we got through the first 6. That would be blood in the Nile, frogs on the land, dust turns to gnats, clouds of flies, death of the livestock, and boils. So now we got the last 4 to deal with today. Let's tune in. And the Lord said to Moshe, "Get up early in the morning and take your place before Pharaoh, and say to him, 'This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. Let my people go so that they may give me worship. For this time I will send all my punishments on yourself and on your servants and on your people, so that you may see that there is no other like me in all the earth. For if I had put the full weight of my hand on you and your people, you would have been cut off from the earth. But for this very reason I have kept you from destruction, to make clear to you my power, and so that my name may be honored through all the earth. Are you still uplifted in pride against my people, so that you will not let them go? Truly tomorrow about this time I will send down an ice storm, such as never was in Egypt from its earliest days till now. Then send quickly, and get in your cattle and all you have from the fields, for if any man or beast in the field has not been put under cover, the ice storm will come down on them with destruction.' Then everyone among the servants of Pharaoh who had fear of the Lord made his servants and his cattle come quickly into the house. And he who gave no attention to the word of the Lord kept his servants and his cattle in the field. And the Lord said to Moshe, 'Now let your hand be stretched out to heaven, so that there may be an ice storm on all the land of Egypt, on man and on beast, and on every plant of the field through all the land of Egypt.' And Moshe put out his rod to heaven, and the Lord sent thunder, and an ice storm, and fire running down on the earth. The Lord sent an ice storm on the land of Egypt. So there was an ice storm with fire running through it, coming down with great force, such as never was in all the land of Egypt from the time when it became a nation. And through all the land of Egypt the ice storm came down on everything which was in the fields, on man and on beast, and every green plant was crushed, and every tree of the field broken. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there was no ice storm. Then Pharaoh sent for Moshe and Aaron and said to them, 'I have done evil this time. The Lord is upright, and I and my people are sinners. Make prayer to the Lord, for there has been enough of these thunderings of God and this ice storm, and I will let you go and will keep you no longer.' And Moshe said, 'When I am gone, outside the town, my hands will be stretched out to the Lord. The thunders and the ice storm will have come to an end, so that you may see that the earth is the Lord's. But as for you and your servants, I am certain that even now the fear of the Lord God will not be in your hearts.' And the flax and the barley were damaged, for the barley was almost ready to be cut, and the flax was in flower. But the rest of the grain plants were undamaged, for they had not come up. So Moshe went out of the town and, stretching out his hands, made prayer to God. And the thunders and the ice storm came to an end, and the fall of rain was stopped. But when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the ice storm and the thunders were ended, he went on sinning and made his heart hard, he and his servants. And the heart of Pharaoh was hard, and he did not let the people go, as the Lord had said by the mouth of Moshe. And the Lord said to Moshe, 'Go in to Pharaoh, for I have made his heart and the hearts of his servants hard, so that I may let my signs be seen among them, and so that you may be able to give your son and to your son's sons the story of my wonders in Egypt, and the signs which I have done among them, so that you may see that I am the Lord.' Then Moshe and Aaron went in to Pharaoh and said to him, 'This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. How long will you be lifted up in your pride before me? Let my people go, so that they may give me worship. For if you will not let my people go, tomorrow I will send locusts into your land, and the face of the earth will be covered with them, so that you will not be able to see the earth. And they will be the destruction of everything which up to now has not been damaged, everything which was not crushed by the ice storm, and every tree still living in your fields. And your houses will be full of them, and the houses of your servants and of all the Egyptians. It will be worse than anything your fathers have seen, or their fathers, from the day when they were living on the earth until this day.' And so he went out from Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's servants said to him, 'How long is this man to be the cause of evil to us? Let the men go, so that they may give worship to the Lord their God. Are you not awake to Egypt's danger?' Then Moshe and Aaron came in again before Pharaoh, and he said to them, 'Go and give worship to the Lord your God. But which of you are going?' And Moshe said, 'We will go with our young and our old, with our sons and our daughters, with our flocks and our herds, for we are to keep a feast to the Lord.' And he said to them, May the Lord be with you if I will let you go and your little ones go. Take care, for your purpose clearly is evil. Not so, but let your males go, and give worship to the Lord as your desire is. This he said, driving them out from before him. And the Lord said to Moshe, Let your hand be stretched out over the land of Egypt, so that the locusts may come up on the land for the destruction of every green plant in the land, even everything untouched by the ice storm. And Moshe's rod was stretched out over the land of Egypt, and the Lord sent an east wind over the land all that day and all that night. And in the morning the locusts came up with the east wind. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt, resting on every part of the land, in very great numbers. Such an army of locusts had never been seen before, and never will be again. For all the face of the earth was covered with them, so that the land was black, and every green plant and all the fruit of the trees which was untouched by the ice storm they took for food. Not one green thing, no plant or tree, was to be seen in all the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh quickly sent for Moshe and Aaron and said, I have done evil against the Lord your God and against you. Let me now have forgiveness for my sin, this time only, and make prayer to the Lord your God that he will take away from me this death only. So he went out from Pharaoh and made prayer to the Lord. And the Lord sent a very strong west wind, which took up the locusts, driving them into the Red Sea. Not one locust was to be seen in any part of Egypt. But the Lord made Pharaoh's heart hard, and he did not let the children of Israel go. And the Lord said to Moshe, Let your hand be stretched out to heaven, and all the land of Egypt will be dark, so that men will be feeling their way about in the dark. And when Moshe's hand was stretched out, dark came over all the land of Egypt for 3 days. They were not able to see one another, and no one got up from his place for 3 days. But where the children of Israel were living, it was light. Then Pharaoh sent for Moshe and said, Go and give worship to the Lord, only let your flocks and your herds be kept here. Your little ones may go with you. But Moshe said, You will have to let us take burned offerings to put before the Lord our God. So our cattle will have to go with us, not one may be kept back, for they are needed for the worship of the Lord our God. We have no knowledge of what offering we have to give until we come to the place. But the Lord made Pharaoh's heart hard, and he would not let them go. And Pharaoh said to him, Go away from me. Take care that you come not again before me, for the day when you see my face again will be your last. And Moshe said, You say truth, I will not see your face again. And the Lord said to Moshe, I will send one more punishment on Pharaoh and on Egypt. After that he will let you go. And when he does let you go, he will not keep one of you back, but will send you out by force. So go now and give orders to the people that every man and every woman is to get from his or her neighbor ornaments of silver and of gold. And the Lord gave the people grace in the eyes of the Egyptians, for the man Moshe was highly honored in the land of Egypt, by Pharaoh's servants and the people. And Moshe said, This is what the Lord says, About the middle of the night I will go out through Egypt, and death will come to every mother's first male child in all the land of Egypt, from the child of Pharaoh on his seat of power, to the child of the servant girl crushing the grain, and the first births of all the cattle. And there will be a great cry through all the land of Egypt, such as never has been or will be again. But against the children of Israel, man or beast, not so much as the tongue of a dog will be moved, so that you may see how the Lord makes a division between Israel and the Egyptians. And all these, your servants, will come to me, going down on their faces before me, and saying, Go out, and all your people with you. And after that I will go out. And he went away from Pharaoh burning with wrath. And the Lord said to Moshe, Pharaoh will not give ear to you, so that my wonders may be increased in the land of Egypt. All these wonders Moshe and Aaron did before Pharaoh, but the Lord made Pharaoh's heart hard, and he did not let the children of Israel go out of his land. And the Lord said to Moshe and Aaron in the land of Egypt, Let this month be to you the first of the months, the first month of the year. Say to all the children of Israel when they are come together, In the 10th day of this month every man is to take a lamb by the number of their fathers' families, a lamb for every family. And if the lamb is more than enough for the family, let that family and its nearest neighbor have a lamb between them, taking into account the number of persons and how much food is needed for every man. Let your lamb be without a mark, a male in its first year. You may take it from among the sheep or the goats. Keep it till the 14th day of the same month, when everyone who is of the children of Israel is to put it to death between sundown and dark. Then take some of the blood and put it on the 2 sides of the door and over the door of the house, where the meal is to be taken. And let your food that night be the flesh of the lamb, cooked with fire in the oven, together with unleavened bread and bitter-tasting plants. Do not take it uncooked or cooked with boiling water, but let it be cooked in the oven, its head with its legs and its inside parts. Do not keep any of it until morning. Anything which is not used is to be burned with fire. And take your meal dressed as if for a journey, with your shoes on your feet and your sticks in your hands. Take it quickly, it is the Lord's Passover. For on that night I will go through the land of Egypt, sending death on every first male child of man and of beast, and judging all the gods of Egypt. I am the Lord. And the blood will be a sign on the houses where you are. When I see the blood, I will go over you, and no evil will come on you for your destruction, when my hand is on the land of Egypt. And this day is to be kept in your memories. You are to keep it as a feast to the Lord through all your generations, as an order forever. For 7 days let your food be unleavened bread. From the first day no leaven is to be seen in your houses. Whoever takes bread with leaven in it, from the first until the 7th day, will be cut off from Israel. And on the first day there is to be a holy meeting, and on the 7th day a holy meeting. No sort of work may be done on those days, but only to make ready what is necessary for everyone's food. So keep the feast of unleavened bread, for on this very day I have taken your armies out of the land of Egypt. This day, then, is to be kept through all your generations by an order forever. In the first month, from the evening of the 14th day, let your food be unleavened bread until the evening of that 21st day of the month. For 7 days no leaven is to be seen in your houses. For whoever takes bread which is leavened will be cut off from the people of Israel, if he is from another country or if he is an Israelite by birth. Take nothing which has leaven in it. Wherever you are living, let your food be unleavened cakes. Then Moshe sent for the chiefs of Israel and said to them, See that lambs are marked out for yourselves and your families, and let the Passover lamb be put to death. And take some hyssop and put it in the blood in the basin, touching the 2 sides and the top of the doorway with the blood from the basin. And let not one of you go out of his house until the morning. For the Lord will go through the land, sending death on the Egyptians. And when he sees the blood on the 2 sides and the top of the door, the Lord will go over your door, and will not let death come in for your destruction. And you are to keep this as an order to you and to your sons forever. And when you come into the land which the Lord will make yours, as he gave his word, you are to keep this act of worship. And when your children say to you, What is the reason of this act of worship? Then you will say, This is the offering of the Lord's Passover, for he went over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he sent death on the Egyptians and kept our families safe. And the people gave worship with bent heads. And the children of Israel went and did so, as the Lord had given orders to Moshe and Aaron, so they did. So we didn't quite make it through the last plague in this reading today, but we did cover plagues 7, 8, and 9, the locusts, the hail and fire first, the locusts, and the darkness. What I like to draw on, and what I alluded to yesterday, was the idea of these being grouped in groups of 3, where you have plagues 1, 2, and 3, symbolizing the collapsing of the dry land and the sea, kind of in contrast with in Genesis 1. The same thing with days 4 through 6 is all about things happening to the creatures and those that fill the earth. There's more creation language, or uncreation language. And then what we saw today was the hail and fire and the locust covering the sky, the realm of the gods, and darkness killing off, well, maybe not killing off, but definitely taking power away from Egypt's primary god, Ra, the god of the sun. And so I do think that the 3 plagues that we discovered today is in some way God's final act of not even your gods are helping you out. Your fire and your ice god, how on earth would they be working together? No, it's Yahweh. Yahweh is in control. And so this is just interesting things to be thinking about. Like I said yesterday, not random acts of power, but detailed and on purpose. And so this is the beginning of the Passover narrative, which the Jews still celebrate to this day. And so this is very important stuff, and there's going to be a lot of repetition, but we'll just keep going with it. But after all, have a wonderful day.